And why this has to do with BaOmer. Give me 10 minutes, Mizrat Hashem. I'll explain you a very important thing. Here is son-in-law that signs a name. Reb Chaim, no, it's not his son. Chaim Sholem Leibovich, that's his grandson. I thought who wrote that number is his son-in-law. Yeah, it says. That's his son-in-law. So his son-in-law gives kind of a eulogy and he describes who was the BaOmer. And he says, he worked hard to understand that he's showing him, he worked hard to bend himself to the Torah. It's not to, this is very important, not to bring the Torah to yourself. This would be here, David Schwartz, very important. Rabbi used to say it all the time. Is don't bring the Torah to yourself, bring yourself to the Torah. Where's Avram? It's God. Okay. Not that I'm the Torah. You hear him? I'm the Torah, I'm the Gemara. No, it doesn't start with me. Start with the philosophers or the goyim. Says the world starts with me, and everything is to fit with my understanding. We say no. The Torah is emes, and if I don't understand, there's something wrong with me. I have to bend myself to the Torah. So he says, the both Ben, you see all over his books, it's Hashem, help me. And I said, wow, I'm just not understanding. Be'ezer Hashem, his whole language. And he goes on again, and another understanding, and another depth. No, this is really what it means. And no, really doesn't mean, not even Gemara, even the Rishonim, even the Rashi, even the Chet HaShloimo that we just did now. Be'emes says, look, really, it's in the Shinas Rashus. Goes on, and he worked on it in the Shiurim again, all his life, to try and understand who. His rabbis, the Torah about it, not he, what they said. It's another style of a. That's why I very get attached. Very good, my father did this. But I got very attached myself to it. Because I would be trained from Rabbi Zimmer and my father. There's a lot of different methods, he said, right? It's true, plenty of methods. But what's strong about the BaOmer is that it teaches you how to relate to the Torah. That message is very important. What do we relate? I came from a school, from Slobodka, every student is no Rosh Hashiva. There's 500 Rosh Hashivas in the Yeshiva. You have a Rosh Hashiva, no Rosh Hashiva. And everyone has own Torah. And the Rabbi says the possibilities. And they don't have to agree. It's all true. But the style of thinking is my thinking is the truth. And if they don't come through me, they're out. It's a type of style of thinking. BaOmer is opposite. He always bent himself to the Torah. I want to know what Hashem says. If I don't understand something is wrong with me, I have to bend to Hashem. Hashem is emes. So he worked hard to see, and Hashem was mezakeh. You see from all the other books, the depths Hashem is mezakeh so much. It's unbelievable. Yes. Yes, it's 5 pages. No, it's 5 pages. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 pages. Okay.
What is he saying? Who wrote this?
The son-in-law of BaOmer was Rosh Hashiva in Torah. Gozovsky, Reuven Gozovsky. He was saved in the war, and he came to America, Rosh Hashiva in Torah. Okay. He goes on and to say who was the BaOmer. He printed the books, right? So this is the words. I'm reading like this. I'm reading on page 6. And page 6 like this. He says like this. It's page 6, second paragraph in the middle. Since he was the greatest Rabbi in the world, what the BaOmer taught his kids, his students, not what he says, he taught them how to be a student. When everybody else in yeshiva worked hard to give answers, or at least start to break answers, he worked hard to understand. To understand how do you ask the question, how do you need to ask the question. How do you answer an answer? How do you have to have a doubt? Always you worked out like a young man, Kenah, that enters the yeshiva. He says what? The Torah needs a tradition of our forefathers. It's for you guys, young guys. If you don't go to yeshiva, you don't have a masoires. You don't have a tradition to understand the Torah. You need a masoires from your Rabbi. And he says, the Torah is not nigras of logic. Torah is not logic. To acquire the Torah is not logic. Theological guy doesn't mean you know Torah. Can open a Schadenstein, can open a logic guy, doesn't mean you get the Torah. A logic guy can open all the books and the English books and the health and the Hebrew books and the chief books. It's not going to help you. Because of this, yes, the batach you have to open and the and to fix. You have to fix your mind according to the Torah. Not that I'm the Torah, I'm the Gemara. No. I want to understand what the Torah is saying. I want to bend myself to the Torah. Why? Because the Torah is not logic. Torah runs according to the rules of Hashem, and Hashem is infinite. By the way, there was a sheep my father said, you should speak about a lot. I'm sure you guys heard it 1,000 times and more, right? Spoke about it. What? Only in the story. And he goes on to explain what his Rabbi and how he did it and how he was alive, just from that. And this and everything, and whatever. This is length. Why this has to do with like boy? So there's a Gemara in the Dorim, very famous Gemara. The Gemara in the Dorim says that Hashem gave the Torah to Moshe Rabbeinu, only to Moshe Rabbeinu and his private family. And Moshe Rabbeinu had a good arm, and he gave it to the Jewish people. And the Gemara has a whole page to disagree with that. Not true that it was given to Abisor. No, this way. That was a whole page of Gemara. And the end of the Gemara says no. Really, Hashem gave the Torah to Moshe Rabbeinu. What? Derech Ahabono v'Acharifus. The way of understanding, Hashem gave Moshe Rabbeinu. I want to explain according to Rabbi, according to my father, what does that mean? In his book, in Moshe, he explains that very, very strong. What really are Rebbe the students? Can a student become bigger than a Rebbe? He says yes. The student can become a greater than a Rebbe. Well, what do you mean? All what I get in my Masoyer is for my Rebbe. It's the Choyer against what the BaOmer says now. A Rebbe is just there, a pipe to connect you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to train you how to think, how to answer kasha, how to answer the teretz, to be a kli kibul to receive the Torah. But the Torah is there, as Hashem. The more you prepare yourself, the more you're being trained. Your extra hours at night, you go like this, karate, and jump in it. You really perfect yourself more than the Rebbe means, more than the Rebbe wants. Not a knowledge, whatever knowledge the Rebbe gave you. But you become a bigger vessel. It means more trained and more sufficient vessel to receive. You can receive from Hashem more than the Rebbe. This is even more than how he explains on late. This is Rosh Hashanah. If you listen and you prepare yourself more from your Rebbe, you can become more than your Rebbe. Because a Rebbe is just a pipe to connect you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Just trains you how to become an Eved Hashem. So when you learn the Torah is Hashem Kiddush. You have the Torah, it's Chochmas Hashem. You have the Rebbe that trains you how to read the Torah. The Rebbe is not Hashem, just trains you how to read. Now, if you've been trained well, you can become a better receiver. And you can receive from the Torah, from Hashem. The Rebbe is just a pipe to connect you, to train you how to receive. When you receive him the Torah, not from the Rebbe. So you can receive the Torah more.
The same book.
Same book, Hashem, we're going to reel you more. So that's why you need a Rebbe. So I understand that why HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Kita Avon and Apil to the Rebbe and not to Klal Yisrael. This is what Imre Mordechai says in his book, and I heard it from Reb Chaim Zimmerman. He said, we asked him, why don't we, at that time we went to learn by him and learn in yeshivas. We said, why do we need a Rebbe? I can read a Gemara. I don't need a Rebbe. So he said, both Bear had discussion, and he went to Reb Chaim Alevi. He says, why do I need you as a Rebbe? And Reb Chaim Alevi answered him that I have to train you how to become a student. Okay, that's another part which I didn't hear. So it's all part of it. It's a training. That's what you need a Rebbe. What not to say, what's the right thing to say, how to say the right thing. So when a Rebbe screams, he says no, and he tells you this way, that's really the main thing what a Rebbe needs to do. It's not just to give you information, it's how the information, how to analyze what's wrong, how to say, how to think, and you learn from him. You can become even greater in your Rebbe. Because the Rebbe is not teaching you the Chokhmah, teaching you how the Chokhmah works, how to receive the Chokhmah. So Hashem wanted to give that to Moshe Rabbeinu. Now I want to explain why. The Gemara in Bava Metzia Perek HaChoyvel says, Chamra lemorei tivus l'shakler. What does that mean? Who owns the barrel of wine? You hear this? Rabbi said, who owns the barrel of wine? The master. But who people thank? The guy that pours out the wine. The waiter. What? The waiter. The Gemara says it's right when we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says he took the Jewish people of Egypt. He was Somech. He appointed Yoshua. He appointed. Hashem gave the spirit to Yoshua, not Moshe. No, it's very deep what I'm saying. Hashem wanted to give power to Chachamim in this world as if they do it. In order that the way Hashem created the world, in order that we would work, that will give us incentive in this world to connect to Hashem. So what do you have? You have a Rebbe, you have a student, you have a person that said the Chidush, he said it's not his. As Hashem saying, Hashem gave you the Chokhmah to understand. But that's what it is. But without Tibus el Shakla, Hashem permitted in the Torah, as the Gemara in HaChoyvel says, the system of the world will not work. So we have to use the physical desires and values of this world in order to promote and to connect people to Hashem. So Hashem gave the Torah to Moshe Rabbeinu. So with this, I want to answer something very important. For many, many years, I looked at like BaOmer, like Avodah Zarah. Avodah Zarah. Adoneinu Bar Yochai is our master. Atana Eloki, the godly Tana. Hashem is God. Adoneinu is my master, and you praise him. What just dancing and singing and praising Rebbe's? Couldn't figure it out. Couldn't figure it out. Bothered me for many years. One time, came out in the yeshiva a small booklet talking against Reb Nachman Breslev. Nachman Breslev talks about himself that whatever he says is greater than Tanoi, Moshe Rabbeinu. Very harsh words. So this guy from Tzfat, he's very against Breslev. He has a problem with Breslev. You know, some of us are crazy people. Nuts and crazy, and who knows what. So he wanted to show them from inside. They have to know that a lot of Talmidei Chachomim in this generation after hell, that was a great Talmid Chacham, but he wasn't. I can't say because I can't say I'm too small to say, but I can say what they said. What I said before. So the mice said. So this rabbi took it out. Hey, a big breast of chassid with a booklet this thick to answer it. So in the beginning, when I read, I got all excited. I said, wow, Breslov is crazy. Then when I read this booklet, I saw there's another aspect to it. But his goal was to give an answer to the Nachman Breslev. I want to get it from, to understand Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, said all other things. This is what we're going to do with that point. He brings the Torah oil. The Gemara in the Dorim says that a Talmid Chacham is allowed to announce himself in a city that people don't know him. Shori leila Talmid Chacham lo yiduye be'asad lo yadir. It's going to go in the society. A Talmid Chacham is allowed to announce in the city people don't know him that he's Talmid Chacham. It's not a gaiva. The Rosh says, the Ram says there, Tosis Shonim says that people not stumble, not to give the proper cover, they have to close the market for him. They cannot take taxes from him. Talmid doesn't pay taxes. No come to Shukah, they close the market. He only sells all what he sells. So in order to give him not to stumble with his halachas, he has to announce and see people wrong. So the Amud Da'oyer says that's why Rabbi Shimon Yochai talks about himself. There's no Tana more than the Shimon Yochai that speaks about himself, and people speak about him. You know, there's a whole book called Shivchei Rashbi. They go on and on to say when Rabbi Shimon Yochai speaks, angels come down, Shankara from his chair. There's such things you never find no other Tana. And you know, Shimon Yochai speaks about himself. So when you start thinking, what's going on? He's talking about himself. What's going on here? And the answer is, Amud Da'oyer says that since Rabbi Shimon Yochai is telling us things which there's no holding in the Torah, just hints, a soy, it's remes, drush, soy in the Torah. So it's really as asad l'yadir. It's an area that most Talmidei Chachamim and Sholi Ameratzi are not involved. They don't know. So the untrained eye, people don't know, looks like junk because that's serious. Doesn't look serious. So in order to not to make people stumble and take it serious, the Zohar is the only book that length about the Shvorim. Before he tells you one Chiddush, it talks a page of Shvorim. You ever saw look at the Zohar. So he says this is the Pshat. Because people, if you look at the Gemara Chagiga, this is my Chiddush now. The Gemara Chagiga says that one Amoy, I forgot what was his name, he wanted to learn Ma'aseh Bereish, Ma'aseh Berkot. So he ran to be taught, and Rabbi Yochanan didn't teach him, and he says, come later, and it didn't work out, and he never learned. Big Amoyra, big Amoyra. So what do we see? That in the Gemara's time, not everyone was zoichet to learn the secrets of the Torah. Not everyone had, you have to teach him Yochim. Not everybody knew it. Even the time of the Gemara, Chazal, Gemara Chagiga, very look clearly. The Gemara Chagiga. So the Gemara says in the third chapter of Ma'at, you don't teach myself only Yochim. The Gemara says, "No, I don't know where you learn." And that's why in certain kilos like the Rambam didn't have the Kabbalah because he probably came from Amoraim tradition or Tanoim Amoraim going. They didn't have the traditional Kabbalah. Not everybody had it. Not everybody, even the time of Chazal. No, that's my shot. That's my kids. But anyhow, not everybody got it. So since even now that didn't have it, he had to give it value. All that people take it serious. Yes. That's why you have to put it. That's why you won't find nowhere else in Shas that people speak such languages about themselves or how those chidushim are great. Why? Because to give it value. So this is the punchline of today. This is for you to understand. This of this Shabbos. Why do we do like BaOmer? We get all the kids, make fire. Kids don't know Bechlal, have no idea what it's all about. And we sing and we dance. Why? To train the kids to give value. And when they grow up, they have to put value and time and to learn the spiritual world of Hashem and Revealed. So to give it value. Because the Asad al-Yadiyah. So the whole BaOmer is what? Not the fire. It's to sing Adoneinu Baruch Chai. It's not our master. Also, Adoneinu, the Lubavitcher Rebbe is Adoneinu. No. It's Bedavka here because you want to train the people that you guys don't like because you're young. But this and that, you don't know. But when you grow up, when you grow older, you have to spend time to learn the Torah Sasoid and Nista. Give it value.